Hi, wow, two people already. That's great. Who's here? TNS. Just, here we go. Hi, Patricia. Yeah, great. I just got off. I'm doing, I did some interviews with Mel Carmine. I just got off an interview with him. It was really nice. It's, um, it's really nice to have, like friends, chabrus as we call them, in the community to bounce ideas off of. It's really exciting. I mean, the world of ideas is so evolving. I mean, we're coming into an era where we can like just hang out across time and space. It's really amazing. So I don't know who else is here. You guys want to let me know who's here? I see numbers, but I don't see people. I like to know who's here. Hey, Sherry. Good morning. Sherry, I know you told me where you live. Can you just tell me one more time and then I'll have it in my I know Patricia's in Texas. I think Sherry's in Florida maybe? Ah, hi Karen. Post breakfast hangout. Yeah. Karen, you got some food. I'm so happy. I was worried about you. Food is such an issue, man. It's such an issue. Oh, you're in New York. Right. Are you in the Catskills? I know I asked you, but you wouldn't tell me specifically. You said upstate. Wow. Near Plattsburgh? Yeah, these are really amazing times. 100%. We have to just keep, hey, prophecy seeker. We have to just keep remembering, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. We're coming into the great awakening, into the era of Mashiach. And everyone is so vital right now. Everyone has a song to sing. Yonkers, hey, Ramon. I grew up on that side, man, of Long Island Sound. I grew up over there. We're on the last chapter, yeah. And this is a long war. This is a 6,000-year-old war against Moilech, against the Satan. And now we have the technology to grapple with this horrible force. I feel fine, good. Nutrition, not a big one. I'm feeling better. I woke up a little bit. I went to shul. I'm not like physically feeling. I think I have the Omicron or something. It feels like the same kind of cough I had when I had COVID. So I probably have the Omicron. Yeah, you're right. It could be an even longer war. You're right. You're right. Yeah, if you look at the book of Enoch, Enoch, Henuk, which I told you yesterday, I was really shocked that a rabbi mentioned that on Shabbos. Very interesting. Okay, so I just want to introduce the concept that came to me this morning, which is that Trump's speech is happening on the 6th of January. And I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm just going to go over it again quickly today. That that week is the first of no, it's the last three plagues. The last three plagues happen during that week, and so anything. I mean, if you, I'm not going by dates now. I mean, there are dates when these things actually happen. It's a good day. That's good. One Donek. Cool, man. Yonkers, yeah. No, I know Westchester. I grew up in Westchester. Um, but I think we're coming in. I think I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know, like, is he going to come back into office? I don't know about any of those things. I don't really spend any time really contemplating things on that level. But I do want to talk just briefly about the concept of angels. And I was talking to Mel Carmine about this. That I asked, hey Tara, I asked a couple of rabbis, do we believe in extraterrestrials? They said no, but we believe in angels. And angels are just extraterrestrials. They have a different density. They have a different. They don't have bodies the way we have bodies. But they have bodies. They're just in a different dimension, and that totally aligns with everything we understand about the extraterrestrials. Please, prophecy seeker, please, man, tell me something. Do tell. But apparently, from what I know of angels, angels are given one specific mission. In other words, they only do one thing, and when that thing is up, they do. The Pleiadians, right? There are Pleiadians, but there are apparently many other different races as well. The Pleiadians are the good guys, from what I understand. And I've read pretty extensively almost all of Zechariah Sitchin's books about the Pleiadians, and that's probably why. It's funny because Zechariah Sitchin, I think, was a rabbi, and because he couldn't answer the questions about the Nephilim, those who fell to earth, he became non-religious. It had the opposite effect on me. I was like, I want to become religious because the Torah speaks about the Nephilim, and I know all about the Anunnaki. I I I spent a couple of years just studying all those books, and but Hashem, when he talks to the Jewish people, he introduces himself as Anochi. So there's a lot to be, and that is considered like the highest name of God. Anochi, me. Clean could be. It's a. I mean, in terms of Kabbalah, it's considered a very high, like the highest level of Hashem as he presents himself. And remember, when the Jewish people were at the base of Mount Sinai, and they had a vision of Anochi, they were blown out of their bodies for like miles. Their spirits, their souls just left their bodies, and that's when they said to Moses, like, "Man, you talk to him. It's too much for us." Pleiadians and reptilians, and there are lots of different races: the Greys, the Whites, um, the Alpha Centaurians. I heard the Israelis are have heavy contact with the Alpha Centaurians. I'm not sure what exactly all this means, but I think we will find out. Hi, Irene. You doing all right? Okay, so let's get to today's Torah portion. You're helping me focus. It is Thursday. I kind of wasn't really aware of that. I'm losing sense of days, which is very nice, very pleasant. Sumerians, yeah. Yeah, and also, I mean, now we're getting information about Atlantis and Lemuria, and there was a picture this morning I saw in like North Carolina of an old bridge that they're basically saying could not have been built by the locals. It was too it was very advanced. It was a very advanced structure, just like the pyramids. I mean, did they just grow out of the desert? I don't think so. Anyway, so we're going into on Thursday. So it said the frogs will leave you, your houses, your servants, and your people. They will remain only in the river. So the frogs are going back into the water, which is pretty cool. And Moses with Aaron left Paro. They left his presence. And Moshe cried out to the Eternal concerning the frogs that he inflicted upon Paro. And this is like what I love about Chumash is like this, all this like personal interaction. It's like he's talking to God, and we also should talk to God. We should feel like, and the Breslovs. I don't know if you guys know about the Breslovs, but they go out into the woods. They have big conversations with God. The Baal Shem Tov also used to spend a lot of time in the woods, praying and meditating and learning. Thank you, Irene. You make me feel better too. Seriously. Okay, so anyway, so he says to God. Now he's talking to God. Yeah, he says he replied, "For tomorrow, Moses left and cried out that the frogs would be destroyed on the next day." So I guess he was complaining. Um, Moses cried out that the frogs should be destroyed on the next day. He didn't want them because I guess he wanted the Egyptians to really see this. I'll have to get the other book, but let me just go through the general story. So the frogs left. The end of the frogs. They gathered them into heaps. It smelled very bad. Pharaoh saw there was relief, and so he went back to his old ways. He says, "I'm not letting you guys go." So then the Eternal said to Moses, "Go to Aaron, and then you're going to bring the plague of lice." Now, apparently, when the lice was something that his sorcerers could not do, it was so small that the sorcerers couldn't do this. So Pharaoh started to, he started to take notice of this. So they did so. Aaron raised his hand, and the lice came, and the sorcerers tried to do likewise with their secret selves, but they could not. And the swarms of lice remained. So the sorcerers said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's resolve was strengthened. He did not pay heed to Moses and Aaron, just as the Eternal had said. So the Eternal then said to Moses, "Rise early in the morning, present yourself to Pharaoh as going out into the water. Said, let my people go so they can serve us." Remember, this is key. This is key, and people outside of our family don't know this. It's not "let my people go to be free and have raves." It's to go out and do your service to godliness, and that's what this new age is going to be about. We're not going to have to worry about money. Hey, Richard. Yeah, we're not going to have to worry about money, but we are going to it's not going to we're just going to watch TV all day. God forbid. I mean, we're going to be creators. We're going to create a beautiful world. We're going to, it says in a lot of Chassidus, so we're just going to sit around and learn about God all day. I mean, how beautiful is that? Thank you, Professor Seeker. Yeah, I tried. Listen, you got it. It works both ways. So I didn't wake up today feeling so great. I was kind of nervous. I started recording my course. I'm starting a course now, and then Mel called me up and he wanted an interview. It's like God just does for us, and that's another thing. This is something that I never really speak about, but I really want to focus on this at some point. Is Hashgacha Pratis, is divine providence, because God is talking to us all day long, every day, 7 days a week. We just have to listen. We just have to be get out of our own fear space, out of our own little world, and accept this constant communication, constant contact. Yeah, it makes all this happen, man, and it's personal. God is here just for you. They say in the Chassidus that God created the world just for you. Yeah, and Richard, thank you again for the physical things. A huge worry off my mind. Thank you. I talk about not worrying, but I do worry. But you saved me. Okay, so anyway, so let's get to the end of this. So I'm going to. Oh, so the next plague is wild beasts. Imagine a lot of wild beasts coming to hang out with you. And the day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people are situated. Remember, the guys had a yeshiva in Goshen in Egypt, and he said that there won't be any wild beasts there, but it's going to come all over Egypt. There's going to be wild beasts, and that's the end of today's thing. So a horde of wild beasts. They're getting ready for the wild beasts. But in just to recap a little bit, like in general of this parsha, we start with God appeared to Moses. In synagogue twice a week, we read the first part of the Torah for the week. So on Thursday today, we we read we the we read the beginning of this parsha. So I got reminded, we're so involved with the seven plagues, we forgot that in the beginning of the parsha, because on Monday and Thursday they read the beginning of the parsha, that God appeared to Moses under the name of Havaya, you know, which is very high, which is above nature, and also is associated with the idea of mercy, which Elokus, God as He is in nature, is not associated with mercy. It's really more associated with strictness. I don't know, Torah. I'm sure there is. I mean, nothing happens in Torah without a reason. I don't know what the order is, but it. I mean, the thing that I would get from today is that as soon as he did the lice, the sorcerers backed off because, you know, getting down to a more smaller plague. Although the blood is small, if you look at it, as a on a cellular level, that's pretty small. But I don't know what the order. There's just probably so much writing. I'm not really so bucky. I'm learning with you guys. But let me get the other chumash just to see if there's something spectacular about today's. Remember also, I said in the beginning that Trump's speech is happening during the week that we are going through the last three plagues, and we actually leave Mitzrayim, the narrow place, the place of constrictions, the place of limitations, the place of negativity, the place of the Satan, the place of that kills, God forbid, children. We are leaving Mitzrayim, and we're supposed to remember this every day. Every day, you're supposed to feel like you're leaving your limitations, and that's like what a cool way to live, right? I'm leaving, man. I'm going for the good stuff today. Every day. Okay, so let's go to. Oh, next week we get to the locusts. That's pretty cool. I like locusts, man. I remember as a kid seeing these huge bugs, right? Those big, the cicadias, I think they call them. They're huge. When you're a little kid, I mean, it's like, wow, look at this thing. It's green and it has wings that are clear. I was such a hopeless nature boy, man. I love nature a little too much. Let's see, Viera. Okay, so, we're going to go. Okay, so fifth plague, epidemic. Wow, that's interesting. The mixed horde, that's tomorrow. No, it's not tomorrow. That's today. So in today's parsha, he's saying I will that he's going to bring the horde, but the actual horde comes tomorrow. Yeah, the plagues. I mean, there's actually on the fifth plague is epidemic. It's like I think they also translate it as boils. Oh no, it's an epidemic that kills all the cattle. So that's very current. Okay, so let me just see if there's any Hasidic thing. It will turn into lice. The Hebrew word for louse is akin to the word for appellation or descriptive name. Addressing or referring to somebody by a descriptive name or nickname is one step removed from using the person's proper name. In Torah, the Torah, in fact, will place great emphasis on destroying the names of idols. This is interesting because when we say the name of the guy from Germany, we say ha 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 amak shemo, which means may his name be erased. There's a big emphasis in Torah on names, and yeah, how can we pronounce something that we cannot? Because it could be that the name is kind of surfacey. It's not like the essence of something, but it points in the direction of the essence of a person. Like when a person is really sick and you say their name, it really speaks to their soul. But so there's this thing about erasing names, specifically uh, the numerical value of the word for lice is 120. The number of permutations of the name Elohim. Elohim is 120. I'm not sure. Let me just look at that in a second. That's 31, 36, 46, 46, and 40 is 86. Yeah, I think Elohim, there must be a permutation, is 120. But the gematria of the God's name Elohim is 86, which is the same gematria as the word nature. So it's God and nature, it's God in nature. Hey, Carla Joe. Hey, Basement. We really don't know how to pronounce it. That's great, Tara. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, Riley Friedman, he's a giant, man. I had, I said I had a personal experience with him. He didn't say anything that I thought he was going to say. He's like completely outside the box. He actually had us doing, what do they call that treatment when you take like small amounts of something? Homeopathic. He sent us to a homeopathic doctor. He says, if you really want to change, the only way you're really going to change is with homeopathy, by changing your actual substance, which I thought was very interesting coming from a rabbi. Who found the grave of the Nephilim. Yeah, there are a lot of like giants they're finding. Yeah, good or bad, 100%. Yeah. So okay, so smiting Egypt with lice then was turning to the very essence of evil against itself. God responded to evil's reliance on diminished divine consciousness by diminishing the divinity, sustaining it even further, thereby cutting it off from its life force forever. I guess they're saying that lice has sort of limited amount of chayas, of life force. Anyway, so that's, yeah, it's nothing really. The frogs. I'm not really sure. I'm not really clear why Moses was so upset about the frogs. Oh, so Moses wanted the frogs. Moses wanted the frogs like taken out fast. I don't know. I don't really understand that. But if you guys find out, let me know. Yeah, yeah. They're saying that the women will bring Mashiach. That's a well known teaching in Hasidus, that the women are going to step up to the plate, and they do. My wife and the female community in Crown Heights, they're constantly learning about Mashiach, and the men not so much. I mean, not to put down the men, and men are learning, the sichas and the Maimorim, the teachings of the Rebbeim, of the Rebbe, but the women really seem to focus on bringing Mashiach. So don't stop thinking about tomorrow. It will soon be here. And it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. My cousin wrote me this morning. I said this on the Mel show. He said, hopefully things will get back to normal and we'll get to hang out again. And I said, no, man, it'll never get back to normal. It's going to be so much better, right? Yeah, go to war while women give birth. Okay, Erwin. Have a great day. Yeah. Thank. Wow, we have 25 people. That's really great. We're building back up again. That's exciting. I hope I can keep this channel. I mean, just remember that I'm always on Rumble. I mean, if anything happens, God forbid, I don't think anything's going to happen to this channel. I think we're going to be okay for a while anyway, and hopefully we'll be able to weather it out until Truth Social comes on. Glory days, not gloomy days. Yeah, we got to stay up for the good of the world, because a lot of people, I mean, I'm getting a lot of people writing me and saying, Ellie, it's not happening. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't seem to be happening, but it's happening. This is a war. This is like the biggest war that's ever. This is World War One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. This is the war for the dominion of the final dominion of the planet, and the final freedom from slavery for mankind to be. I don't know if John is on this chat, but John sent me the most beautiful letter. He said that when we put our emotions and our intellect and our body, these three parts together, we can do amazing things. And that's what's really unique about us. Now, the angels, which, I mean, you could call them extraterrestrials, from what I understand, they are sent on one mission, and that's all they can do. They can do one mission, and that's it. Once they do the mission, they're angels called seraphim, meaning to burn up. Once they once they finish their mission, they burn up. Quality versus quantity, yeah. Glory days, yeah. We got to be positive, man. I mean, for the good of everyone, and really, we're anchoring a new energy on the planet. We're really anchoring, like, we how could humans be positive when they're like slaves? I mean, yeah, there were moments of peace and tranquility, but we're going into like pure bliss, unprecedented in human history. By the way, I don't know if I told you this story, but I just want to repeat this quickly because I think it's a very important story. I was once at a men's meeting, and there were like 50 men from all over, all different walks of life. And it started to rain a little bit, so everybody came into the tent. And I started making this speech about, like, look at this, we're all these men from all these different backgrounds, and look how beautiful it is that we're all at peace with each other, and we're all feeling good and like that. And in like this, like if I could barely say that, and two people started fighting. Why? Because we the idea of nirvana, the idea of real peace, is not something we're used to. That's why it's so important that we practice, practice, practice. We practice positivity. We practice, taking that breath and feeling, getting into your heart space, getting into your, like, just feeling like, a lot of times during the day, I just be like, I'll be like, yeah, why am I down? And I'm just thinking, oh, let me take a breath. I do my little mantra, Rabono Shel Olam, which means master of the universe. Rabono on the in breath, Shel Olam on the out breath. And I do that a few times, and I just remember, get into my heart space, man. Feel the love, feel it, and you can do it. You can produce it. Not always, but sometimes, a good amount of times. Yeah. Hopefully somebody will get that. It's not me. I don't know. I better I better answer the door. Yeah, the end of the movie. I'm gonna just answer the door. I'll be right back. Thank you so much. God bless, man. Sorry about that. Had to answer the door. Packages. I mean, like, even that is so beautiful. I mean, you can get anything you want, any kind of vitamin, any kind of anything delivered to your door. We never had that before. If you lived like I lived in the suburbs, everything was going to the supermarket, right? I mean, I live in the city now, so I can walk to the supermarket, but it's still it's hard. It's an effort. It's a whole thing. Door answer, yeah, nice. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can, and I think we can really see it already. I mean, we can hear it, we can understand it. There's a difference in Hasidus. They talk about seeing and hearing. Seeing is like when you see something, it becomes real, but you really don't really process it. When you hear something and you understand, you have to understand it. And I think we're coming to understand that God is with us in every moment. I mean, you're doing one thing, you have a thought about something else, and little by little, He leads you to where you need to go. It says in the morning brachas, God directs the steps of man. That is so beautiful, Sherry. I remember when I first went to AA, I really wanted to like have a relationship with God. I sat on the beach for hours and hours and hours. I was like, please, come on, man, give me a sign, give me something. And I had a vision. I had a vision on. It was just like, that's what I needed. That's what I needed to see in order to really start believing. Auditory ingestion, nice. Karen, Karen's a poet, man. Um, yeah, and then better to help others, right? And also go back to the 11th step, where you go back to your tradition and try to bring light into it. The vision was, I felt like I saw like a large man coming out of the ocean. I mean, actually, it was sort of like, I mean, this is before I discovered Judaism or anything, but I think it was really Neptune. It was a guy with a trident and everything coming out of the ocean. And I just felt like that was kind of like, all the proof I needed. And probably at that time, that's the only thing I could understand. I mean, I didn't come from a religious background, so I'm sort of apologizing, and I shouldn't. It's a personal relationship. Yeah. Yeah, exactly right, Tara. Yeah, we all have to find it ourselves. And that's the same with doing research. I just remember the power that he had power. He was a power. It was powerful. He just came out of the ocean. He was just like strong. It was interesting, Delmer. Yeah, we don't know what's happening, but the main thing is just to keep positive and keep producing beautiful things. Water is potent. Yeah, watch the water. Right, water is on the good side. Water always, it stays together and it goes down. It always knows, it's always moving down. On the bad side, water represents like laziness, and could be, certain desires. But I think water is an amazing thing, and the gematria of Mayan is 90, which is a multiple of 18, and 18 is chai, meaning life. So 5 times chai is water, and also the water molecule is shaped like the word Mayan. In other words, it has two H's, H2O. Like you could see the yud as, there's one yud and two mems. So it's like H2O to me. Water has memory. Yeah, I know they're doing a lot of interesting things with water. Okay, well, let me get to Tanya while we still have a little time left. The package is over on the bench. Um, the Tanya today is really cool, and again, this is like Tanya 101. This is really like the basic Tanya, like the most fundamental aspects of Tanya they're teaching now. I just want to go through. Something just touched my eye, and I want to just go over. This is from yesterday's Tanya. Ah, during prayers mentioned above, the Bainanis, the middleman's heart is aroused to love of God, so passionate that he does not feel the evil in his animal soul at all. Now remember, the Bainani never gets rid of the evil lodged in his heart, but he doesn't let it get into his garments of thought, speech, and action, which is a very high level. Don't try this trick at home. But therefore, his animal soul was always dormant. It's still there, but he never like entertains it. So it says it was therefore possible for him. He's talking about Rabbah. Rabbah, however, remember in the beginning it said Rabbah said he was a Bainani, and Rabbah learned Torah all day long. He probably never had an evil thought in his life. So they were saying, how can you consider yourself a Bainani? So it was possible for him to consider himself a Bainani, for he appeared in his own eyes as a because he was praying all day, so he felt like he never gave his evil inclination a chance to do anything. So he said, I'm a Bainani because I'm learning all day and I'm never ever doing anything, that's not holy. They said so much that the angel of the opposite of life couldn't reach him because he was learning all the time. He couldn't leave his body. They couldn't get to him because he was sitting there learning. Okay, but today's Tanya. So every person ought to strive to be a Bainani, for it does not require transformation of one's negative characteristics, only a willingness to behave properly despite the temptations of the heart. This ability stems from the essential connection which each Jew, regardless of level, has with one God. Remember, this is written for Jewish people, but it doesn't mean that you're excluded if you're not Jewish. The one God and the absolute conviction to not sever the ties with God. You don't want to, if you think to yourself, I really like. For me, it's like, man, I really want those potato chips. I'm going to do whatever I can to get those potato chips. And then I think, and then, the thought occurs to me, you know what? If I don't give in to the desire and I put it off for a little while, even if I just put it off, it will strengthen my ability to deal with my temptations. And I really don't want to get into that space of desire because it will could sort of take me away from godliness. Also, so because a Benoni does not hate evil, he doesn't hate evil. It never really leaves him. Unlike a tzaddik, a holy man does have no evil. Um, he does not find worldly pleasures revolting and horrible. I mean, you know, it's high level, man. For this is a matter entrusted to his heart. As explained earlier, the Benoni has yet to conquer the evil in his heart. Consequently, he does not hate evil. Also, not all times are alike. I apologize. That's my dishwasher. There are times, such as during prayer, when one's heart is open and receptive. At such time, he may evoke a loathing towards evil. He may actually hate evil. But at other times, not. So it's not constant. And let's see, how we doing time wise? Yeah, we're doing okay. So the task of the Bainani is only to turn away from evil and do good. He can't eradicate the evil from his heart, but he can turn away from it and do good and connect to God. To act, speech, and think, even that which is contrary to the desire of his heart and diametrically opposed to it. So he really wants to do this, this thing, but he doesn't. He just, and this is high level. I mean, don't judge yourself if you're not there yet. I mean, it's extremely high level. Yeah, Manus has a lot going. Yeah, Manus is a busy guy. Yeah, yeah. Can I eat in one year, right? Yeah, coconut cream pie is a very good choice, man. It happens to be one of my favorites too. I don't get much coconut cream pie in the Jewish world, but before I was, when I was in the secular world, I could get it more. Okay, so let's just go on a little bit more. Namely, thought, speech, and action dedicated to God, His Torah, and commandments. The desire, this desire to unite with God arises out of the love that God is sure that is hidden in His heart. Although I do not feel it, just as this love is found in the heart of everyone, it says Jews, but I'm saying everyone who are called the lovers of God's name. And it says, for this reason, even somebody who's very far away from God is capable of sacrificing his life for the sanctity of God's name. This is really more in the past, because a lot of times they would tell, like, Jewish people, if you don't, relinquish your claim on Hashem, we're going to kill you. And this is a lot of people gave up their lives to sanctify God's name. Although I heard that the Rambam said you're not supposed to, we're here to live to serve God, not to die to serve God. And it's not the ideal necessarily way to sacrifice yourself for the sake of God. It's, we're really here to live, not to die. Ah, right. Yeah, and the road to excess can lead to the palace of wisdom. Yeah, that also. I know when I have to give up major habits, like when I had to quit smoking, which took me forever. Right before I quit smoking, I smoked heavily and got almost sick from it. And same with drinking. I drank, and then I said, okay, that's it, man, no more. Sometimes you have to, like, really, I'm not saying, I'm not, don't try this trick at home, but sometimes in order to really give something up, you have to really experience it fully. God is good. Yeah, 100%. At the end of the day, it's all good. So the takeaway from today's Tanya lesson is every single person can be a vanity. Every single person can control their thought, speech, and action. Just tell yourself every single moment that despite the struggle, you want that moment to be for God. Okay, the Alter Rebbe can say this. I mean, I'm for sure not on that level. I mean, maybe some of you are. That's, God bless you. But, it's God enjoys those who struggle as well as those who are already there. You don't have to be perfect for God to, like, totally enjoy your existence and to be one with you. Yeah, I mean, smoking was the hard one of the was very hard for me to quit. It was very, very. It's so addictive, so addictive. It's horrible. I wouldn't even go near a cigarette. In fact, years ago, I was at a rainbow gathering after I quit smoking, and somebody offered me a hand rolled, like, organic cigarette, and I said, "Oh, I could do that." One puff, I was hooked. I just, so I know. Even on fast days, like on Yom Kippur, they pass out snuff in the synagogue to revive you a little bit. I'm just like, I don't even want to touch snuff, man. I'm just like totally frightened of tobacco in any form. And I've grown it also. It's a beautiful plant, big leaves, like my horseradish plant this year, humongous leaves. Yes, it's physical and mental. I mean, it's, yeah, it's deep. Yeah, that's hard to. Yeah, I know it's not an easy thing to quit. And the other thing is, like, nobody can really tell you how to quit. Everybody has their own pathway. I mean, for me, I went to a hypnotist a couple times to quit, and that's, I mean, hypnotism works pretty well for me, but I'm easily hypnotized. So let's see. So we're in. Okay, let me read the Yom Yom. We have a little more time. By the way, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I want to just repeat this. I spoke to Rabbi Rogalski about the Noahide laws, and he's an expert, and he was with, he was around with the Rebbe, and he knows people that personally ask questions to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe actually changed his opinion on certain things. Like, I think, anyway. So if you want to know more about it, and if you want to contact Rabbi Rogalski, he's sort of housebound now, and he would love to talk to you. He's very, very sweet. He's a Balashuv like me. He wasn't born religious, but he's very he's really, he really learns a lot, and he knows. He wrote a book about the Noahide laws. So if anybody, reach out to me if you want his number, his email. You can email in person and set up a phone conversation. But he also does a class on Sunday, every other Sunday. He learns together with his friends. So if you want to join him there, he's just a super nice guy. Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Donak, it does more for me probably than for you. What do you mean by perk, Richard? I'm not sure. It's hard, Tara, man. I mean, I feel for you. Hmm. Yeah, it's probably, yeah, you're right, Richard. It's probably a symptom, but man, I mean, that's one what place I do not want to go ever. Right. I mean, smoking. I mean, you could try a good hypnotherapist. It might, I don't know if that would work for you. It worked for me. Um, God bless, man. I mean, yeah, symptom bashing makes it worse. Yeah, right. Trying to quit can make it worse. 100%. I agree with you, Richard. But I've quit drugs that are considered much more addictive than nicotine, and it was much easier to quit than smoking. Smoking was, yeah, drinking, yeah. Yeah, I'm just so much more. I'm so much happier with. I don't have that cycle. I think in drinking and probably smoking too, you get addicted to the ups and downs. You go down and you go up and you go down, you go up, and it's like you're addicted to that sort of cycle. And then when you quit, you sort of have to get addicted to the ebb and flow of reality, which is pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I was going to go to the Yom Yom, and I could do also the. Okay, so they're talking about in part of the prayer there we uproot, shatter, or crush. There are three klipas. There are three evil forces that cannot be converted to good, and then there are klipas noga. There are some klipas three that must be in by contrast, and then there are klipas. I'm not sure the number that can be converted to good. That's interesting. But let me get to the Galula section. We're really doing. If anybody asks you, if a Hasidic person asks you what you're doing, what you're learning, what we're learning together, you're doing what's called chitas. Chitas means, like your basic, like bread and butter of the day, which is Chumash, the Torah. It's also Tehillim, to Psalms. It's Tanya for Chassidim. It's and the Rambam. Those are the like the four basic things. But I also include the Yom Yom. The Rambam really deals with halacha, which I'm not sure that would be. Okay, so Thursday. The frogs in the house, the courtyards, and the fields died. The Torah previously mentioned that some of the frogs had gone into the ovens. What happened to them? A frog's natural habitat is water. For a frog to jump into a piping hot oven is an act of the ultimate self-sacrifice. God did not let this selfless act of obedience to his will go unrewarded. When the time to end this plague, the frogs in the houses, the courtyards, and the fields died, but those in the ovens stayed alive. That's interesting. So too, our historical survival as a people is due to our willingness to comply with God's will, no matter what the cost. Okay, so this deals with what's called the Mesiras Nefesh, which means giving your life for God. Yeah, there's so many good reasons to do bad things, right? Geez, yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. You were bad because you didn't smoke, Carla Joe? Oh, yeah, yeah. Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, I actually met him once. I met his daughter too. Um, he has some very interesting books. Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut. Interestingly, to parallel that a little bit, and God don't, man, don't go near it. The Friedrich Rebbe was in, I think it was Germany during a bombing, or he was in maybe, I'm not sure, he was in Europe during a bombing. And when the bombing ceased, he came out and he said, "Oh, it's such a nice day." In other words, the Rebbe was like so above like nature. He was really like he was just in tune to godliness. So for him, it was like, okay, there was bombing, and now it's a beautiful day outside, and so it goes, right? Smokers and dippers, yeah. I don't want to say, Karen. I mean, I could say. I'll tell you privately. It was not like I saw him in a fancy restaurant. I saw him when I was like having some difficulties, and I don't want to. I don't want to make it sort of a public thing, but yeah, someday we'll talk about it. I've gone through many different stages of my life, and for a while I had a bad drug issue, whatever. Um, yeah, experience rather than suffer. Yeah, pick your poison. But I think the whole thing, and this is to me, this is really what I've tried to do is to replace. Like sometimes you can't. It's hard to break a habit. It's hard to it's hard to stop thinking a certain thought, but it's a little easier to replace that thought, to do something else. That's why I say, do something physical, wash the dishes, go for a walk, get out of this thought. I mean, I get a lot of thoughts during the day, like I should do something that's not so kosher, and what a great idea it is, and I'll feel so much better. And then I think to myself, you know what? I'm not going to feel better. I'm going to feel worse. I'm going to be cut off from God in that moment. I'm not going to feel the same energy. I'm not going to feel good about myself. And so, sometimes I'm able to say, okay, and that's what they say in Tanya. Just say, okay, you know what? Maybe in a little while I'll have the potato chips a little later. I'll try to go for it. Actually, I ate a whole bag. What was left of bag of potato chips for breakfast this morning. Nothing hurts. Interesting. Wow. Cloud seeding, really? Boy, that's some bad stuff. Yeah, I know, Tara. You told me about you. You were hanging with some. You were living life in the fast lane. Tara, I forget. Are you living with? Do you have a child with you, or a young person who has? issues. I can't remember. Yeah, I know, Carla Joe. That's hard. My uncle, who had the same thing that your son has, was a smoker, but for him, and a drinker. For him, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, fasting. They say though that the rabbis say we're not really on the level to really be able to handle much fasting in our generation. But if you're an old timer, man, what the heck? Yeah, pray, man. All right, so I guess we're reaching. When did we start? We start at 11 to 12, right? I hope that's true, Patricia. I really hope that's true because I see a lot of trails in my sky, a lot of funny shaped clouds. Tobacco, yeah, tobacco's horrible. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got your hands full, Carl Joe. God bless you. And you're still so up. You're always so cheerful and so happy. 3 weeks to break a habit. Yeah. Yep. Oh man, I with smoking, I got tired of quitting. I was quitting all the time, and it was just like, you know what? I'm always quitting. It's just enough already. I'm just gonna quit. Better to chew. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna sign out. You guys should have the best day ever. Keep productive. Keep doing. Yeah. Keep choosing like fun stuff and physical stuff. My son and I are always like cooking for each other. That's kind of fun. I see he's cooking his oatmeal now. Wow, 40 plants. Yeah, I grew tobacco in the old days. I wouldn't go. They say that even touching the plants, you can get cancer on your hands. You get skin cancer. Thanks, Prophecy Seeker. Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. And let's see, today's Thursday, right? We're coming into Shabbos Vayera. He appeared. So look for him, man. Many angels. We're surrounded by good angels. Just they say in that when we pray with good intent, we produce good angels, and if we pray with God forbid bad intent, the opposite could happen. So keep those good angels coming. Thanks, Karen. God bless you. Keep being productive, Karen. Keep producing your poetry. And please, I would love it. I would love if you'd write an article for our website. Anybody who wants to write, please let me know. Okay, so I'm doing a Jewish goodbye again. I'm sorry. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.